It truly saves lives. It saved mine. I would not be here today without this miraculous medication. It prevented me from bleeding to death, and I'm so grateful for it. But it also can be so miserable. I often on this channel focus a little bit too much on the miserable side, and I wanted to focus today on the miracle side. Sorry if those are backwards. I can't tell because I'm going live, um, whether that's the right direction or not. But um, I wanted to celebrate today because this week, my first pharmacist in my family would have turned 100 years old. This is me, my dad, and my grandpa. We're all pharmacists, 3 generations in a row. And this cute little guy right here, my grandpa, he would have turned 100 years old this week. And it made me reflect on what it would have been like had I become a pharmacist when he became a pharmacist. When he became a pharmacist, we were still using these little jars to store medications. We were using mortars and pestles to um, mix and grind up all of the powders. We still do that in compounding pharmacies, like my family's pharmacy, but there's so much more available. It's a miracle. So I wanted to reflect on prednisone and my grandpa, what his life was like. Back then, how could he imagine that his granddaughter would have her own channel, her own YouTube channel, that you could make a video and just go live right now and talk to people across the whole world? I've talked to people in so many countries this week alone: Bangladesh, India, Pakistan, the Philippines, all over the world. It's so amazing. I love it. I think Australia and the UK, it just goes on. So many people have been able to hear this message about how we need to counteract prednisone side effects, and that wouldn't be possible back in my grandpa's day. He could only help a little tiny community of people. Even if he had a message to share, it was really hard to get out. So I am so grateful that I have this ability to share my message of having taken prednisone and figuring out ways to counteract the side effects with all of you across the world. What else would he have been surprised about? Oh, that if people just type something into a box, something pulls data down and they can find information, that Google exists. How could he even imagine that back when he started his career as a pharmacist? And that when people type prednisone into Google, that 1.5 million people every month have my website showing up in the result. That is amazing. Like it's stunning. I never could have believed this would happen. Then when he started as a pharmacist, there was no such thing as prednisone. Like he couldn't have even helped people on prednisone because the drug didn't even exist. It it's funny, the year he started our family pharmacy is the same year prednisone came onto the market. And so it was a complete miracle back then. They didn't know about the side effects. They didn't have to test for side effects. That's why we don't know what the side effects are. But the pharmacists and the doctors who were seeing people on prednisone, they're like, wow, my grandma was completely like unable to move her joints because she had rheumatoid arthritis, and now we give people prednisone and they're able to function, they're able to move their hands, they're able to not be hunched over, to be strong and tall and capable and move. And it was such a miracle for all of those people with rheumatoid arthritis to go from complete disability to ability. I mean, prednisone is truly a miracle. They later found out that it made it really hard to stay on it long term because of so many side effects that we talk about all the time on this channel. But it created the opportunity for not just prednisone, but for inhaled steroids to save people's lives with asthma and COPD. Nasal sprays to save people's sinuses with sinusitis and allergies. The eye drops to save people with so many eye issues. For creams, steroid creams to help people with eczema. I've got it. I haven't been using my steroid cream, obviously, because I don't want to, but for eczema, for rosacea, for I'm blanking on the biggest one. Anyway, another skin disorder. So many people have benefited. It has saved so many lives, not to mention all of the other autoimmune conditions like sarcoidosis. They would be dead otherwise. My condition, ITP, on and on. People with transplants would have lost their brand new organs without prednisone. And so truly, prednisone is a miracle for what it is used for. It's also miserable, right? Let's see, anything else? Oh yes, these are fun facts about my grandparents. So my grandpa was the president of our state pharmacy association, and when he was the president, he visited every single pharmacy in the state of Utah, and in the process, visited every single zip code. But you could do that back then when there weren't that many pharmacies or people. And so later on, his wife was on the state pharmacy auxiliary board. And that was an organization that solely existed to support the Pharmacists Association. They were the wives of the pharmacists because pretty much all pharmacists were men, and they had wives and they needed something to do. They didn't need anything more to do, but they supported them. They threw parties, did fundraisers, auctions, all sorts of things. Big housewives party. My grandma was on that. What would she be thinking as if she had been there? Like throwing those parties, planning these events, to think maybe in 50 years, my granddaughter will actually not only be a pharmacist, but she'll be a doctor of pharmacy. And not only that, she'll be a pharmacist working from home, helping people on only one drug and never actually touching a prescription or a pill. What would she think of that? That how far women have come, that I'm able to be home with my children and be making an impact on the world at the same time. It is truly a miracle that prednisone has given to me, that even though I suffered so many horrible side effects during the 9 months I was on it, it has blessed me in so many ways. I'm so grateful for prednisone that I'm physically here and that I get to spend my career helping people on prednisone, and that I could create this formulation, that their granddaughter could create her very own patented formula to support people on prednisone, that you don't have to suffer so much while on prednisone if you take Nutranize Zone. You can just give back the nutrients prednisone is stealing and you feel well again. You feel like yourself again. You don't have to just feel like you're wasting away because you're replenishing it. You're giving it back by taking Nutranize Zone. And so I wonder what my grandparents would have thought if they had seen today, 2023, when a pharmacist mom could be working from home and supporting people around the world in millions of Google searches and YouTube videos. Well, not millions of YouTube videos, but millions of people finding them and changing the lives of people. And I never would have gone into this career if my grandpa hadn't done it. And so I'd like everybody to think of your grandparents and your parents and what they've blessed you with. And here's my cute grandpa one more time, Grandpa Jolley, and how grateful I am that he started this family tradition and that I could become a pharmacist, because otherwise I never would have even thought of that career. So this Prednisone Pharmacist channel is brought to you by Grandpa Jolley. Happy birthday, Grandpa. Happy 100 years. I love you.